Steve, thank you for joining me. Here we are at AI Summit in London. It's one of the biggest AI events in Europe right now. Why is this conference so important for IBM?
Well, look, Europe is becoming a huge opportunity for AI adoption globally, and it's because of the concentration we have with regulated industries like healthcare, telecom, banking, insurance, and it's extremely challenging to scale that AI across those industries. So we're looking at this as a way to quickly and efficiently move from pilots to scale.
I agree. It's an incredible continent and environment for all sorts of experimentation, a lot of exciting stuff going on here. IBM's been talking a lot here about the AI operating model. What does that mean? And how is IBM's approach here different from your competitors?
Yeah, I think much of the landscape that's out there today is they're all talking about building agents, but it's primarily within their ecosystem. And I think what IBM is focused on is how do we do that across heterogeneous environments? It's challenging to do that. And in order to do that, you need to think about what is your AI operating model and how does that scale? And when you think about it, it's about how do you take advantage of your underlying infrastructure, regardless of whether it's in the cloud or on-prem, giving you that flexibility and control to start with that infrastructure. Then it's about understanding where your data is. How do you get access to that data in a safe, secure manner and with the right context and the right accuracy to fuel those agents that are making decisions? And then how do you have that enterprise agent control plane sitting across all of that to give you that ability to observe, optimize, evaluate, make decisions on those agents to scale those across your environment, again, in a heterogeneous way.
Right. And we're hearing a lot about that operating model here at the AI Summit this week. This is day one. IBM is the primary sponsor of this amazing conference. And so what are some of the highlights that visitors can expect to see and hear whilst they're here?
Yeah, I think one of those is about what we're doing with Watsonx Orchestrate as our enterprise agent control plane, which allows you, again, to take advantage of your growing agent estate, regardless of where those agents are built or where they run today, but to give you that ability to, again, to control and to observe and to take advantage of, again, all of those agents across your estate. I think another area is what we're doing with IBM Bob, which is really a coding platform that sits across and gives you the ability to support developers across that entire software development lifecycle.
Right.
I think also an area that we're focused on, again, giving the importance of compliance and regulation in Europe itself, is around our sovereign core capabilities to give you the flexibility and control across your data and infrastructure estates.
And so you've already said it a few times right now. So a lot of buzz about AI agents, a lot of industry discussion about agents. What is IBM seeing from your customers, your enterprise customers in particular, about agents? What's the adoption like? Where are people in the kind of life cycle with agents? What's going on?
Yeah, I think every customer we talk to, they're all focused on building agents, but the conversation is quickly turning from not just how do I build, but how do I maintain control? How do I optimize where those agents are and how they run, and how do we maintain cost control and some of those core elements that are really important as we see those agents grow across the estate. And so I think we're seeing a notable shift going from, again, how do I build my agent as quickly as possible to how do I govern it, and how do I really understand, observe, and optimize along the way. And that is a notable shift that we've seen in the past 6 months.
Right. And you also mentioned IBM Bob. I heard you mention that. A lot of noise, a lot of buzz, a lot of attention on IBM Bob. Unusual for IBM. I'd be interested to know a little bit more about Bob and how that's changing the software development lifecycle that you mentioned.
Yeah, I think, look, many of the other coding agent and chatbots out there are really focused on specific tasks, generating code snippets. What it separates IBM Bob across from the rest is really understanding the intent and understanding that full development lifecycle. So giving developers the ability to go in and plan and understand those complex, those legacy code bases, and really focus much on how do I modernize those really complex code bases. We at IBM have seen huge success and adoption at Bob. With Bob, over 80,000 developers internally are using it today, showing consistent productivity gains upwards of 40% above and beyond their existing. Anyway,
the usual tools.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and so one of the things that you can use Bob for is, of course, to build agents, and we've talked a lot about agents already. But when it comes to the agent conversation, when it comes to the AI conversation, really, it's shifting, isn't it, from a conversation about creation to a conversation about governance. So why is that happening now, do you think?
Yeah, I think the past few years have been focused on experimentation with AI. And there is no doubt that we have seen the value come from that. But where many organizations are getting stuck today is, how do I shift from that pilot, that experimentation, to true scale?
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you need to think about compliance, you need to think about security, and really shifting left. And I think in the past that there's been this perception that's going to slow you down. But the reality is now, if you're not thinking about those compliance concerns, the governance, the data governance, security up front, it really inhibits your ability to scale. So again, it's a notable shift of realizing that in order to go from pilot to scale, you need to be thinking about governance up front.
Absolutely. And Watsonx Orchestrate is IBM's platform for building, but also deploying and managing agents. How is it evolving to tackle those challenges that you just discussed?
Yeah, when we first released Watsonx Orchestrate a few years back, it was focused on as an orchestration platform, and how it's evolved is it's becoming this enterprise agent control plane. And what that means is it gives you the ability to observe, evaluate, optimize, give you the right policy controls along the way so that your agents can run safely and securely across the enterprise, regardless of where they built or where they run today.
Right. Which is incredibly powerful and incredibly timely. But of course, agents are only as powerful as the data that you feed them with, right? And one of the interesting things we've heard about here at AI Summit this week has been this idea about data becoming real time increasingly. So can you talk a little bit about that and how that could potentially impact AI and IBM's strategy in that space?
Yeah, so it's such an evolving landscape. And if you think about it, right now we've proven that less than 1% of your enterprise data today is represented in large language models. So that means 99% of enterprise data is still not being used by AI. Why is that? It's because of much of that is really critical and secure data. It's customer data, secure data. And so you need to have the right understanding and the right controls and security and compliance of that data to even access it. So what we believe in IBM is giving you that control to be able to access that data, to use that data across your environment, regardless of where it sits in your existing tool set today. And then you bring on the importance of how do I leverage that real-time data?
Yeah.
And so this is going to be different based on the industry. But if you think about AI today, it's no longer based on static databases. It's real-time. So we're seeing that notable shift, and that's where you'll see a lot of our capabilities, not just with our Watsonx data portfolio, but bringing in some of the great capabilities with real time from Confluent as well.
Incredible. So much exciting stuff going on, and that's just today. But looking forward, looking ahead, what do you think the enterprise AI landscape would look like over the next few years, and where do you see IBM fitting into that future?
Yeah. So look, we're evolving from a landscape where enterprises are going to have to operate with these large ecosystems of agents, and they're going to be embedded in every department, team, and an organization as we see it. And so that means they're going to need to be able to operate in a safe, secure, and optimal, cost-efficient way. And so we at IBM are focused on how do we take advantage of all of the existing capabilities and platforms and tools that organizations have built and make that work within those environments that you have today. And so we believe the winners are not going to be the organizations that create the most agents, but they're the ones that think about that AI operating model in the right way to give you the ability to scale from those isolated pilots to true scale.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Steve.
Thanks, Jonathan.
You're very welcome.